country of Canada and the foothills of the Canadian Rockies. Welcome back, everybody. I'm here at a church where we're taking Alberta Independence StayFreeAlberta.com, where all these Albertans are showing up in droves to sign a petition to separate from the Corporation of Canada. And this Corporation of Canada has been running a fictitious fiat currency for some time. And they've been working in the, we're signing to free from Canada. Come on in and sign. Yeah, it's happening right now. So these beautiful people here that were part of Alberta independence, what they're doing is they're saying enough. When we have a currency that is depreciated in value so much, they're bringing this currency to an end by putting us in debt. Our debt note is worthless. We are so much in debt, and it's a fictitious currency. It doesn't exist. We have to understand that the Wayfair, Vanguard, and BlackRocks of the world, these oligarchs that are destroying humanity, committing murder, sedition, and treason, and genocide, are alive and well. Albertans are a lot like the Texans in America. We've had enough. We're going to stand up and we're going to say no. This is the first time that we as Albertans stood up and said enough. During the COVID lockdowns, a lot of people were asleep. They took an unverified, safe protocol, supposedly. It takes years to come up with a safe vaccine, but these people were poisoned with strontium, barium, nanoparticle aluminum in our skies. So these are not chemtrails, they're chemtrails. This is weather modification, and this is the destruction of humanity and the depopulation agenda 2021. 20 divided by 30 is 666 all day long. These Jesuits that have done this, these Freemasons that have taken over our country and our banking system with the Liberals and the Conservatives. This is controlled opposition. If you think for a minute you're going to vote this out, you are sadly mistaken. You will not vote this out. The only way is to stand up, everybody, all over the world, and say no, no thank you Zionists, no thank you Freemason Jesuits. We're not going to adhere to your communist Bolshevik revolution. The Bolshevik revolution, what happened in Russia and what happened in China is happening here now all over the world. Ukraine, European Union, the United Kingdom. When you understand the language of United Kingdom, UK, and then you look at Ukraine, United Kingdom reign, then you will understand that these Jesuits operate in every single country in the world. Every one of these events have been planned for millennia. These Freemason Jesuits that are committing murder, sedition, and treason are coming to an end. Now, when you understand that these people have come to this place to stand up and say no to your currency, no to your fictitious fiat currency or BRICS currency, that we're saying we don't need your money, we don't need your demonic rule and reign over free individual people all over the world. This happened in Venezuela. It took 8 years for Venezuela to be completely overrun by these Bolsheviks, these Zionists. And make no mistake about it, this isn't anti-Semite or Shem or Ham, Japheth, and Cush Shemite language. This is anti-Zionism. This is anti-Talmudic worshiping, devil-murdering monsters. Those who had followed the Torah, the law, the Ten Commandments, have a different opinion of this Zionist Bolshevik revolution taking place in Canada. These beautiful people come from all over Alberta to free their nation, their countries, their communities against this tyranny.
You're from the east?
I'm not. I'm right from here.
Like you are.
No, I'm right here, Albertan, proud Albertan. So these beautiful people that are right before here setting up these banners and that, they've been fighting way hard and strong and uniting all Albertans and Canadians. During the truckers' rally, you have to understand something, the Bolshevik revolution and the mindset. They infiltrated that trucker rally. They brought about that destruction of that truckers' rally. They literally, illegally, against the Charter of Freedoms and Nuremberg Law, Section 1, Section 6, They destroyed that peaceful movement, calling us a strange people, a peculiar people. And so when we understand that Justin Trudeau broke our Constitution and the laws of freedom of speech, when they made the Bible all of a sudden illegal and hate speech, you got a problem. And this has happened in United Kingdom, where they literally took the electronic Blue Book Bible off the internet. What's happening right now in Iran is the same thing. You have internet censorship, where they just took out the internet completely against our will. So you're in an echo chamber if you think that you're going to change this by voting any one of these monsters out. It's controlled opposition. When you say, oh, you're left wing, you're right wing, it's the two-headed bird. It's the same monster.
Shelly's in there and she wants your signature.
You betcha. I'm going to go and sign this. Sharon, do you want to just hold the... I'm going to go sign this quick and I'll come back. Everybody, this is my wife. She doesn't want to be on camera, so I'm going to reverse the camera and we're just going to film the entrance. I'll be right back. I'm going to go sign. If you could just hold that at me for a minute, I'll just sort of speak. So I'm focused. I'm good?
Yep.
Okay, so I went in there and I signed on behalf of, as a proud Albertan, to fight against Freemasons, Jesuits, and the World Economic Forum and the International Monetary Fund. And so I met with some of the people that are doing this. I won't be able to publicly speak, but I'm going to find out if I could video and record this event and then post it on this channel. Having said that, I'm going to take the phone from my wife, who's shy and don't want to be on film, and then I'm going to continue filming. So let us talk a bit outside and try to reach as many people as we can. And anybody that would want to voice their opinion, if they wanted to be a part and voice their opinion as an Albertan, they're welcome to join and just say their own piece if they wish. Anybody that would want to talk, good to see you. Blessings, brother. So we have to understand something here. When we got into this mess, this was a long, long time ago, 1776 and even further. These people that come into these nations that have done this, this is far beyond colonialism. This is far beyond a corrupt banking system that happened in Jekyll Island, where they brought in this fictitious currency. This is way deeper than a lot of people understand. Now, let's just take a look at this, and I'm waiting to get a permission to film them inside. So you have to understand something. Currency and the value of money and the manipulation of the markets have brought us into this mess. Every contrived event during all these bankruptcies and all of these things that have happened are basically the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, and the International Monetary Fund, the Dutch royal family and British royal family and Saudi royal family. These monsters have constantly and consistently manipulated the markets, the money, causing collapses and financial ruin for ordinary humans in every country. This isn't just Canada we're looking at. In America, every time you see a bankrupt farmer, every time you see somebody losing their mortgage, every time you see beautiful, hardworking people taking a stand and trying to survive, you've had these bankers, these manipulators of money and currency, destroy nations. We're not just talking the George Soros of the world or these Vanguard, BlackRock, and Wayfair. We're a lot more down the rabbit hole than that. These bankers and these monsters that have done these things to all nations at different time periods have been doing this for millennia. Okay, so we have to understand something here. When the manipulation of this money started, it was during the Jekyll Island event prior to the sinking of the Titanic. These monsters literally said, we're going to take away your gold and give you a banknote. And then we're going to control the markets because we own everything. And then what we're going to do is we're going to plan contrived events and market collapses, and then we're going to buy out your property on 10 cents on a dollar. And that's what they've been doing forever. Manipulating, deceiving, lying, stealing. And these governments that are now under the control of the World Economic Forum and the Freemasons and the Jesuits, these governments in particular are held ransom. They're either held ransom financially, they've been bought out financially, or they're manipulated. It's either what we would call a blackmailing Ponzi scheme with Aga Khan's Island with Justin Trudeau, or Epstein Island. It doesn't matter. These are blackmailing issues to control your politicians worldwide. Make no mistake about it, when you see their hand signals and you see their insignia of what they're doing, this is a controlled demolition of all currencies all over the world to bring in your digital ID, your one world government, your one world religion, your one world currency. This currency that they are going to bring about, copyright number 060606, called Luciferase, with Google, this currency that they want to bring to you and your digital ID and your digital currency is so nefarious. When you wake up to the fact that these monsters have been planning this for millennia, we must stand up and say no to a digital ID, no to digital currency, and no to the oligarchs of this world, Vanguard, Wayfair, and BlackRock, and International Monetary Fund. We must stand up and say no. So I'm going to show you the turnout just briefly. This parking lot is packed. We got people pulling up everywhere. Alberta has had enough. We're standing up and we're saying no. Everybody that I see coming in here got a big smile on. They've had enough. They work hard for a living. And we're going to take this country back one province at a time. Make no mistake about it. What you're seeing is they're going to try to landlock our oil here in Alberta. They're going to make it very difficult to ship our oil to the West Coast. They had the audacity to say that they're going to ship it to the East Coast and ship it around the Panama Canal to the West Coast. There's no getting out of this. We must reject the currency, the digital ID, the cryptocurrency they call Luciferase. We must reject this forced vaccination and this medical protocol with World Health Organization, where our nation signed over our sovereignty to World Health Organization. Now remember, everybody, Clade X exercise was exactly 666 days before the World Health Organization announced a pandemic. That's alarming. March 11th, the third month, the 11th day, was the Spanish flu. March 11th, the third month, the 11th day, was the announcement with World Health Organization that we are under a pandemic. Now, that's pretty coincidence that both the Spanish flu and the COVID mandate pandemic took place on the exact same day, March 3rd. Third month, 11th day, 3 times 11 is 33. That's your Freemason number all day long. Hi, welcome. How are you, sir? I got a fine, beautiful Albertan here saying hello. Would you like to add to anything on your opinion on what's going on in Alberta?
Well, it's just that we got to get out.
Yes, we do.
There's no way around it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get out from under the Liberals.
Awesome, beautiful people. Yeah, beautiful people. I've got these beautiful Albertans marching in here to say no. It takes a brave heart. You got to stand up and you got to say no, thank you. You understand that these people control the currency, they control the media. All the media is owned by the same people. Wayfair, Vanguard, and BlackRock. They own the media, they own the radio stations, they own all of the food corporations, they own all of the fast food chains, and they own all of the food distributors. They own it all. And they're going to hold us captive until we either acquiesce or stand up and say no. I've got beautiful viewers in the chat. Awesome. Let the room populate. Let us continue just talking about these things and in accuracy, pointing out that this is nothing more than divide and conquer. When I had freedom fighters come on my own land and we discussed how we're going to take Canada back, they said we're going to need a passport for every province. And I said, no, we're going to one by one. Hello, praiseworthy. Blessings, brother. Blessings, sister. Welcome to the channel. Everybody join in. When they said, I'm going to need a passport to go see my sister in Ontario, I said, no, we're going to take our country back. Whether it's one province at a time, we're going to take our land back, and we're going to say no to the bankers, no to Vanguard, no to Wayfair, no to Zionism, and freedom of speech. When you got the International Monetary Fund funding all of these banks and events, you have to stand up and realize that they're going to control the money and the food. Now, when you as a Canadian or as an American had noticed these food prices go up, why? Because they own all the food corporations. They own all the distribution centers. We're not going to win this unless we all stand up together and say no. You got to look at the big picture here. This is a bank, this is an institution, and the Corporation of Canada is nothing more than a corporate entity. When you have Christina Freeland, who in Canada went and go join Ukraine, they had money laundered so much of our money right out of Alberta, directly to Ottawa, directly to Ukraine. Now understand something, a small country the size of Manitoba would be funded billions of dollars, then we have a problem. Go ahead. No, please.
We can't have you film inside.
Inside? Okay,
yeah,
that's good. Okay.
sorry about
No,
that.
that's perfectly understandable. So I was not given permission to film inside, which is cool. I'll stand out in public land and I'll just talk about this. When they go in, I'd like to hear what they have to say, but I already know what they stand for. Freedom, truth, honesty. We have to look at this and we have to say to ourselves, how do we win this? Well, we have to expose the evil that's running it behind the scenes. That's the Jesuits, the Freemasons, the Illuminati.
You tell them.
You betcha. All of these people are going in to sign for their sovereignty. We could do that. We're going to do it. These beautiful Albertans from all over the world, hardworking Canadians. Blessings. Good to see you, brother. I got friends from all over that are saying hello. We were taking a stand and we're saying no. We're saying, and everybody in every province and in every country. I know I've got viewers from all over the world watching this. Hi, blessings, blessings everyone. To all you people in England, in France, in Germany, I know you're watching. Listen, nonviolent protest, peaceful, loving people standing up saying no. No to Vanguard, Wayfair, and BlackRock. You say no to the International Monetary Fund, the Dutch royal family, and the Saudi royal family. You say no to these institutions like the oligarchs of this world, Wayfair, Vanguard, and BlackRock. You say no to the Jesuits and the Freemasons and these Commonwealth monarchies and oligopolies that are destroying these nations. When they control the money, when they control the media, when they control freedom of speech, and when they control and tell that your Bible is hate speech, it's time to stand up and say no. It's time to say no. When they won't even accept a petition in the teachers' union, they refuse to even accept a signed petition saying stop teaching our children how to fornicate as young as the age of 4. We stand up and we say no. When they're going to manipulate our currency, even if we separate from Canada, Peter Lougheed had the right to say we have the right to print our own currency. We have the right to our sovereign citizenship. And I mean a free person, a man and woman under natural law, not maritime admiralty law, not common law, natural law. Law of the land, not law of the slaves, blacks law, or Commonwealth law, and not maritime admiralty law where you need a driver's license, a fishing license, a marriage license, a hunting license. No, that's maritime admiralty law. By law, you don't need a license, you don't need registration, you don't need insurance. This is all fictitious lies. And this is maritime admiralty law, and we're going to fight against this as well. Hi.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm doing great.
My name is Todd, and you are?
Deborah,
Hi, Deborah.
I'm a canvasser.
Deborah's a canvasser, and she's saying hello.
I'm not getting paid.
And you're not getting paid. I'm not getting paid either. Every bit of knowledge that I was been given, I give freely. These beautiful Albertans that are actually in the cold, standing in line, they're beautiful, proud Albertans saying enough. So listen, I know you're watching in England, and I know you're in Germany, you're watching. Listen, I watch and I listen to what you're fighting against. Non-violent, peaceful protest, rejecting the International Monetary Fund, reject your governments and this World Economic Forum takeover, reject these policies and principles right out of NATO. You have to understand that these people that have done this are doing it in every nation all at the same time. It's divide and conquer. It's distraction. So, Claydex exercise, 666 days before the World Health Organization announced a pandemic. March 11th, the third month, the 11th day was the Spanish flu. March 11th was the third month, the 11th day they announced, the World Health Organization announced COVID-19 as a pandemic. That was a contrived event to destroy our economies and bring us to our knees. They forced us vaccinated, they forced us with masks, they destroyed our peaceful protest, and they said we're a unique people. They arrested freedom fighters, they beat them, they brought in rogue belligerent force. This is right out of the language, out of the Geneva Law of War. A rogue and belligerent force is something that comes into a nation unwelcomed and forces their laws and edicts on peoples that they're not of this country. World Economic Forum in Davos right now is planning your future. Donald Trump and all of these other Christine Freeland and Justin Trudeau and his boyfriend, the astronaut Katy Perry, are there now predicting your future. And this digital ID, copyright number 060606, called Lucifrase with Google, they're going to put this digital ID on you and say you cannot buy, sell, and trade without this digital ID. I say no. They're going to access your digital ID and your medical information with your driver's license. I say no. That's my private information. What I do with my body is my business. But they're going to have access to this. And they're going to take this information and say, oh, you're not vaccinated? And you're misbehaving and you're talking bad on the internet? We're just going to turn your currency off. Now starve to death. And I say no. You stand up and you say no, loud and proud, non-violent, peaceful protests, signing petitions like this. We've got a massive lineup and parking lot filled with people coming from Hinton and all around Alberta to sign this petition. We're not going to stop until we win this war, and we are at war. Let me tell you something. World War I, if you add up the dates, equals 68. World War II, if you add up the starting date of World War II, it equals 68. The invasion of Ukraine, when you add up that date, it equals 68. These are contrived events. These are made. These are brought about by these people who run this world. These World Economic Forum Freemason Jesuits are very cunning. They've been planning this for millennia. And make no mistake about it, when you start looking at the numbers and the sequences of events, it'll blow your mind. Take, for instance, the bombing of the Twin Towers. Building 1 fell, Building 2 fell, Building 7 fell. The 11th month, 7th day was the bombing of Pearl Harbor. Make that make sense. That you would have these Zionists accidentally destroy the USS Liberty and say, oh, we didn't know it was an American ship in the Mediterranean Sea. Sorry about that. Hey, America, come and join World War II. When they bombed Pearl Harbor, the Australian government told the United States that there's a fleet of ships headed to Pearl Harbor, and they did nothing. Why? Because the Freemason Jesuit government of that time said, we want America to join World War II. We want our young people destroyed in another world war. When you understand and you look at the coding of that, you understand that World War II could have been prevented. In 1933, on the 33rd parallel, we had the 33rd president declare war and put their people to destroy. What's that? What's that? I've got viewers all over the world watching. I got lots of friends and family that love me. Yeah. So you're not on film, by the way. I'm filming me. Yeah. Yeah. That's good. I don't care either. Yeah. So a lot of people love it. A lot of people hate it. But these Freemason Jesuits that are running the world with their banking system, that are going to try to take all of these beautiful Albertans and enslave them, they're standing up and saying, we want to separate from Canada. We want to stop sending out Ottawa all our money, and we want our oil to get to the world markets. We're tired of being controlled. And I'm here filming all these beautiful people, showing these people that we've had enough.
Why do you think we're here?
I know.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm here too.
Why are you here?
I'm here to sign, yeah.
Yeah, we don't listen to you.
Well, you don't have to listen to me. I don't have to listen to you either. So that's good. You can close your ears or just pretend I'm not here. So this one guy's upset because I'm talking and I have free speech. You know, that happens. Some people get agitated, some people love it. It's okay because that's what makes us a beautiful country, is that as Canadians we get to be ourselves. But soon free speech will go away. A lot of these people that are here today, they're fighting for Alberta. They're fighting for the right to be in control of their own body and their own destiny. And what's happening is you got the International Monetary Fund controlling our currency. And until that changes, we write our own currency, that's never going to go away. Peter Lougheed in Alberta gave us the freedom, and we have the right to print our own money. Civil Giselle in World War I come up with a cryptocurrency that would depreciate in value. That means it would have currency and chain of command. It traded 14 times faster than any other currency in the world at the time. And then World War II happened. When you understand that these monsters that are trying to take over Canada, England, France, Germany, Australia, what did they all say? Build back better. That was a very unique situation. We're going to build back better. And back during COVID, we're saying, well, what do you mean build back better? So all of a sudden, we got these forest fires in Lahaina, Scotch Creek, Salmon Arm, British Columbia, California, and all these strange forest fires started popping up. And all of these land displacements take place. And what did they do in Jasper, Alberta, Canada? They burnt it to the ground. Justin Trudeau said, do not let those forest fire fighters go into that forest fire. They stand down, and sat in Hinton, I drove by them every day while Jasper, the national park, burnt to the ground. Now, we had people in Ottawa that were trained firefighters. They knew the topography. They were trained wild forest fire fighters, and they wanted to go in there and fight these fires and save their farms, save their land, save their communities, and the government would not let them go in there and put out those fires. Why? Because it's a land grab. This is the largest exchange of wealth in human history, with World Economic Forum, Freemason, and the Jesuits, the International Monetary Fund, and they're taking everyone's wealth. They controlled these events, and they brought Canada to its knees during these lockdowns. Many people lost everything that they worked hard for their whole life. And they said, sorry, Boris Johnson said it best. He said, we're going to have to let some of these people go bankrupt. Oh, really? It's okay for you, but we're going to lose our livelihood? We're going to lose everything we worked for because you say so? Because you want our money, our land, our country, and our resources. Alberta, Saskatchewan, and on the American border have the largest oil reserves in this continent. And when you look at what they're doing here, they're literally starving us out, controlling the narrative because they own all the media. When Justin Trudeau openly said, I paid CBC billions of dollars, that's why they're talking nonsense. You can't trust your media because they're all owned by the same oligarchs. Okay, Disney, Viacom, CBC, BBC, NBC, they're all owned by the same monsters. These are the bankers of the world. Vanguard, BlackRock, and Wayfair own all of the media. You're not going to fight this by voting it out. You're going to fight this by standing up and saying no. I've got a massive lineup here, and I see the whole entire parking lot full of Albertans saying enough. By the way, none of you guys are on film. I'm pointing it at me, but if you ever want to come up and voice your opinion, you're welcome to. I love all of you. I think you're awesome. I got viewers from all over the world watching this. So listen, whether you're in France or whether you're in Germany, remember what happened in the Canadian Truckers Rally. We've seen Canadian flags in every country. I was there. I was watching the truckers. I was listening to them on the CBCs. And what did these demons do? They stood up by somebody filming like me, and they put their radio on so you'd get a copyright strike, and they'd get booted off the channel. That's how evil these people are. So we had people with phones like this walking around filming, and some Bolshevik, because that's what they do, divide and conquer, right? Some Bolshevik would come up to a guy filming and start playing music and invoke a copyright strike. They'll do everything and anything to stop free speech. They seize their jerry cans, they seize their private vehicles, they actually arrested people for honking their horn, believe it or not. So Get this, when United Nations dropped their plane down during the truckers rally, we had a belligerent force, a rogue and belligerent force, under the language of the Geneva Law of Conventions. They came in with European dialects and said, "What is this street? Where is this street?" And they were acting like Canadian policemen in Canadian uniforms. When we asked them, "Can I see your badge number, name and number?" they refused to even ID themselves. This was nothing more than a bunch of mercenaries brought in from United Nations, land in the same airport as Justin Trudeau, and beat up Canadians fighting for freedom. We were feeding the homeless, shoveling the walks, standing up and saying, "No, we want the right of a bodily autonomy." They say, "Oh, it's my right to an abortion, bodily autonomy," but it's not your right to not refuse a vaccine. It takes years to create a vaccine that's safe. How ironic that it's 666 days after Clade X exercise, a pandemic exercise, that 666 days later, the World Health Organization announced a pandemic on the same anniversary date of the Spanish flu. How ironic, how interesting. So these are planned and contrived events to destroy our economy and demoralize our people. This is right out of Bolshevik revolution, color revolution. When you understand and look at communist Bolshevik behavior, it's very simple. Gay against straight, black against white, communist against democratic, liberal against conservative. If their whole game plan for war is divide and conquer, they've done a really good job. They've taken Canadians and pitted them against each other. Elbows up, Canada. No, no, no. You could take all of your Holly weird, your Holly delete, that's what I call them, Hollywood delete, and you could talk all day long about freedom of speech. But when these monsters have turned us against each other, and they actually believe that Mark Carney, a person that destroyed the English economy, and that was there during Justin Trudeau was Prime Minister destroying our economy. Let me ask you a simple question, everybody. From England and France and Germany, you're all welcome here. We're premiering all over the world. Listen to Canadians. We had a truckers rally. You waved our flag all over the country. In every one of your countries, we instilled pride and love and righteousness. Take your Canadian flags out of your closet and stand for us again today and say, it's enough. Unison. I watch you guys in England. Hello, everybody. Welcome. When you join hands and you stand up in all nations all at the same time, understand this. March 11th was the same date that the Spanish flu took place, and it's the same date that they brought out the plandemic with World Health Organization. When you look at NATO, NATO is on the 33rd parallel on Mount Harmon. When you understand that Mount Harmon was where the fallen angels came, then you will see a NATO flag planted there. On the 33rd parallel, what happened in the bombing of Nagasaki and Hiroshima? It was a planned event. They planned that. World War I in Gematria, 68. World War II in Gematria, just adding up the dates equals 68. The invasion of Ukraine, if you add up the date of the invasion of Ukraine, it equals 68. World War I was planned, World War II was planned, and World War III was planned. 9/11 was planned event. We got to go get those terrorists. This is a Freemason, Jesuit, Bolshevik move. Problem, action, solution. They create the problem, they give you the solution, and people are scared, they're terrified, so they act accordingly. Building 1 fell, Building 2 fell, Building 7 fell. The 11th month, 7th day was the bombing of Pearl Harbor. The Australian government warned the American government that a fleet of Japanese ships were headed to Pearl Harbor to bomb them, and they did nothing. They allowed that to happen to get America into World War II. Prescott Bush was feeding both sides of the army at the time with Union Carbide. He was literally funding World War II with the Germans and the Americans. They profit from war and murder and mayhem. They want us to pit against each other and fight against each other. I say no, I say unite. This entire parking lot is filled with people who know exactly what's going on. We've had enough. We're not going to fight each other. We're going to stand down and we're going to say no. We're going to say no to the Canadian banking system. When the Canadian banking system said, we got this beautiful digital currency, it's going to be awesome. And everybody in the world's going, that sounds like prophecy, doesn't it? You shall not buy, sell, and trade without the mark of the beast. You will not be able to partake in society according to NATO. NATO basically said, quote, if you guys don't accept minor attracted people, which we would call, you know what, you will not be able to participate in NATO's society. So we don't like what you do to our children, so we can't participate in your society. Well, how's that going to work? Oh, I know. You'll just turn off our currency. So if you can't hold currency in your hand and the power goes out, how much power do you have over your destiny? How many people in Canada and all over the world have actual physical currency that you could hold in your hand? Because if you got a digital crypto blockchain currency and you're not behaving like in China, where you buy, sell, and trade everything with your phone, they just turn your access to your currency off. Now what? Now you're starving. If you control the food, if you control the media, and if you control the narrative and the communications, when they shut the communications down in Iran, make no mistake about it, people were fighting for the right to survive. They say, oh, the terrorists are bad in Palestine. Philistine, Palestine. Listen to the ancient language that's now modern. They said, oh, we got bombed by a bunch of terrorists. Let's go in there and decimate the entire Gaza Strip. At some point, you gotta understand something. There's retaliatory action, and then there's genocide. What you're seeing now globally is a takeover of humanity worldwide, all at the same time. Freemason, Jesuit nonsense all day long. During the elections, when we saw what happened in America and Canada, Pierre Poilievre had an entire list of his candidates, and it was almost 2 meters long. That's voter fraud. Dominion Scital voter fraud took place where they had Sharpie fiasco. They led a Sharpie. They had a barcode. Some of those mail-in ballots didn't even see an envelope. Make no mistake about it. When they had barcodes and the inventor of the barcode said these ballots weren't valid, the same thing here in Canada. We have pictures of George Soros' son and Justin Trudeau with a smirk on his face holding a Dominion Scital voter tabulation. Our voter fraud here in Canada had taken place. Nobody wanted Justin Trudeau in the second time. Oh, we legalized marijuana, but we're bringing in this digital cryptocurrency and destruction of Canada. Small fringe minority, I could see massive Albertans right here standing up and saying we're not small and we're not a fringe minority and we're like the Texans in America. We don't put up with your crap. We're going to stand up and say no. For all the people all over the world, listen, we've inspired you with the truckers rally. We're going to inspire you again as Canadians. Canada is a country filled with people from every nation escaping global tyranny. Canadians are the true melting pot, where we escaped this communism before and we'll do it again. We have to remove these governments, this rogue, belligerent force that has invaded our nation. Christina Freeland was known associate of the Pickerton Farm fiasco. I got pictures of her with the Pickerton Farm. Now she's in Ukraine, and we're supposed to give up all our firearms to help Ukraine? Make that make sense. That we would be money laundering our billions of dollars to help a nation overseas and not feed our homeless and our veterans sleeping in the streets. And this is not just Canada. The same thing in America. You have the same thing in America where vets have risked their life and limb and they're sleeping in the streets, but they're giving billions of dollars away to NATO, World Economic Forum, Freemason Jesuits, money laundering all day long. Don't tell me that we are billions of dollars in debt with a fictitious currency that doesn't exist. You know, the Canadian Tire dollar is worth more than our actual evil money. You could take a Canadian dollar from Canadian Tire and buy $1 worth of stuff in Canadian Tire, but you could take a Canadian dollar and it's a debt note worth billions of dollars of debt. Now, for those people that don't understand how much $1 billion looks like, you could take $1 billion and stack it on a 10 by 10 square pallet and go 10 feet in the air. And that's only half of $1 billion. Don't tell me that Ukrainian needs our money. Don't tell me that the Bolsheviks aren't trying to divide Canadians and murder our economy and murder our people. When you force a vaccination on people without medical trials under Nuremberg Law Section 1, Nuremberg Law Section 1 says informed consent. That means you must be informed of its safety and efficacy, and you must consent to taking an unverified safe medical protocol. That's not what happened here in Canada. They said you can't go to a store, you can't ride a plane, you can't go on a train, you can't do nothing without proof of vaccination. And there comes a point when you say enough is enough. You got a massive amount of strontium, barium, and nanoparticle aluminum in these chemtrails. Don't tell me that they're not weather modifying our skies. When you see all of these forest fires uniquely being on in different areas, every one of these forest fires, where there was the Appalachians in the States, whether it was Lahaina fires, Scotch Creek fires in British Columbia, we had fires right here in Edson. I was evacuated twice. These fires were muskeg burnt hot. For those people who don't know what muskeg is, it's wet, it's peat moss. These fires are contrived. This is a planned event. These are people that want to take over the entire world and bring in their one world government. We had Mark Carney say openly, visiting with China, China was doing troops, Canadian soil troops training with Canadian soldiers on Canadian soil, unbeknownst to Canadian, number one. There's Mark Carney saying, New World Order. George Bush Sr. said, New World Order. Australian Prime Minister said, well, we'll have to see what it looks like in a New World Order. These Commonwealth nations all are in on this New World Order. World Economic Forum, Freemason Jesuits, and these murderers. What they want is a digital ID, a digital currency, a one world government, and a one world religion. For those people that are not spiritual, let me just tell you this. What's the one world religion? It's called Chrislam, where you join Christian, Catholic, Catholicism, Islam, and all other of these religions are going to coexist. That is blaspheme. One world religion. In Dubai, massive temple built, all ready to go. They've burnt red heifers already, and they want to start going back to Noahide law. Noahide law will worship on Sunday. It says worship on Saturday. Keep your Sabbaths holy. You have to look at the Catholic Catholicism that's taking place in the Freemason Jesuits. These Jesuits have been running the world for quite some time. And the Masonic empire that you're witnessing take place all over the world has been going on for quite some time. In 1776, George Washington was a Freemason. Benjamin Franklin was a Freemason. These currencies, if you look at the American dollar bill, you'll see on the American dollar bill the pyramid. When you add and make a Star of Rephaim, not the Star of David, when you put the Star of Rephaim over that pyramid logo, it spells Mason. Freemason, Jesuits. They're just a small part of the big picture of these monsters that commit murder, sedition, treason, and genocide globally. When George Bush Sr. said, I want a one world government, we got to go into Kuwait because Saddam Hussein and all of these other monsters over there are terrorists, they were the last three nations that had a gold-backed currency. Now they put in a puppet government, and they put in their fiat currency, and now we've got BRICS currency. Brazil, Russia, India, China, and other countries have now joined BRICS currency to destroy the American currency. Back to 1776, when they brought these currencies into place, they took the gold-backed dollar out and precious metals, and this is a labor-backed dollar, and they gave you a piece of paper and said, here, this is your banknote. That is fictitious currency. It doesn't exist. And now they're going to bring in this digital currency if we don't stand up and say no. Because if you don't participate in society, they're going to turn your money off. And that's it. It's over. You're enslaved. At some point, when I see these beautiful Albertans all standing up and saying no, it's very inspirational. We're not going to vote this out. We're not going to win this war with violence. We're going to win it by standing up and saying, no, thank you, International Monetary Fund. No, thank you, Bilderberg Group. No, thank you, Davos, devil-worshipping monsters. We're going to say no. We're going to take our country back. We're going to take our currency back. And we're going to send all these guys to jail for sedition. Justin Trudeau should be in jail. Christine Freeland, let's hear it. Should Justin Trudeau be in jail? There you go. Small fringe minority. This guy sat there and had the nerve to say, you won't do this and you won't do that. This guy is Justin Trudeau. He is probably Fidel Castro's son. Let's face it, Justin Trudeau's mother was in a porn magazine, right? We all know about that. Yeah, so birds of feather flock together. She was not a nice lady. And I'm sorry, but these are rituals. These people are monsters. Christine Freeland was part of Pickerton Farm fiasco. We got pictures of her with the people from Pickerton Farm. For those Canadians who don't know what happened there, well, that's just another way to dispose bodies. These people are nefariously malevolent beyond your comprehension. When you look at what they're connected with, why would Justin Trudeau be at Davos right now? He's no longer our prime minister. Why would Christine Freeland be at Davos right now? Why would Donald Trump be at Davos right now? Why would Vanguard, BlackRock, and Wayfair, and all of these Zionists, these ones who worship the Talmud, not the Torah? For those who don't know, the Torah means in Hebrew, the law, the old commandments. You're looking at these beautiful people. Oh, I got a friend that says hello. Another freedom fighter. We've got freedom fighters from all over Alberta that are standing up and saying no. When they went to Davos, and they're doing this, they've been doing this for quite some time behind secrecy. When the Canadian government decided to initiate this, when this first folded out, it was the 3rd month and the 11th day. 3 times 11 is 33. Okay, understand Freemason language. Okay, KKK, Ku Klux Klan, 11th letter of the alphabet, 11th letter of the alphabet, 11th letter of the alphabet. What is that? 33. Coca-Cola, 3rd letter of the alphabet, 3rd letter of the alphabet. What is that? 33. Charlie Kirk was assassinated. CK, 3rd letter of the alphabet, 11th letter of the alphabet. 3 times 11, 33. These are coded things that have happened in our past. World War I, in gematria equals 68. World War II, when you add up the dates, equals 68. World War III, the invasion of Ukraine, when you add up the invasion of the date, equals 68. Read Revelation 6, verse 8. They had a beast over them, Abaddon. Abaddon. They worship Halal, Hisatan, the real name of Satan. When you ask a 33-degree Freemason, who do they serve? They say the bearer of light. Who is that? Your average Freemason wouldn't know that. But when you act and you look and you listen and you have eyes to hear and eyes to see and ears to hear, they worship O Lucifer, the bearer of light. They believe, like Prometheus, that this guy come down from the skies and taught us how to build swords, breastplates, and fire. These Freemason Jesuits that run the world, they're in every country, in every small community. I got a Freemason lodge right here. I drive by it every day. We are being indoctrinated to believe that these behaviors are natural. They're not. People want to be loved, respected, and treated equally. We're not naturally opposed to different opinions and people. We love each other. But when the food gets crazy and you start running out of food and you have no electricity, people get desperate. In my videos, in many of my videos, if you go back and look, I say this. I was in Florida during Hurricane Juan. Hurricane Katrina is the best example. Let me explain something with Hurricane Katrina. It got 7 meals to chaos. Okay, day 1, hurricane hits. Everybody's flooded. You got neighbor helping neighbor. Day 2, neighbors helping neighbor. Pull people out of the water, give people medicine. Day 3, things are getting desperate. You have no running water, no electricity, no plumbing. Now the water's contaminated. Day 4 comes. People are getting desperate. They have no food. They have no sustenance. They have no water. Day 5 comes. Now people are getting kind of scarce. They're getting worried about where their next meal. Where's their government? Are they coming to help them? I watched Hurricane Katrina in live real time. Day 6 comes. Things are getting really scary. Day 7, with no electricity and no food, it's neighbor killing neighbor for their can of soup. You have 7 meals to chaos, whether you like it or not, in densely populated areas. If you have no electricity, no running water, no way of buying and selling in currency, it's a very dangerous situation, and that's what they want. Now, I was in Grand Cache when the power went out and we all got up in the morning to go to work. There I am with my bank card. I've got my truck filled. I got my lunch made. Everybody stepped out in the street and said, now what? I got a bank card and no electricity. Go to buy breakfast and lunch and gas to go to work, no electricity. All of a sudden, my bank card, my little piece of plastic, is useless. And when I went to the store to go buy a submarine and to fill up with gas, the cash register don't work. And the guy at the cash register can't add and subtract. So what are you going to do with the cryptocurrency when they turn it off? What are you going to do when the government coerces you and seizes your bank account for freedom of speech and talking? If you give the governments of your nations, and welcome everybody, welcome. I know you're from all over the world watching this live. Blessings to you all. What are you going to do if you give your governments power over your currency? What are you going to do when the power goes out and you've got electric currency? There comes a point when you got to stand up and say, how come we have a power outage? Oh, we want electric cars and minus 30. How come we have all of this control given to our governments and we have no control? We are the people. They are the minority. We are the majority. And we have to stand up and eventually say, I'm not going to give my power to these governments, these oligarchs. You got Wayfair, Vanguard, and BlackRock who own all of the media. They own all of the banking institutions and the food corporations. Disney, Viacom, and all of these countries, BBC, CBC, NBC, they're all owned by the same monsters. You're never going to see this on lamestream media. What you will see is constant and never-ending nonsense. Blessings, brother. I'm so proud to be in Alberta right now. I see parking lots jam-packed and this building is almost full. And they're going to listen and they're going to understand what's going on here. We got to go back to our own currency. That's a labor-backed dollar and a dollar that's based on gold or precious metals. We've got to get our oil, and let's face it, there is no other way other than free energy, which does exist. Every time humanity comes up with free energy or some way of existing without these oligarchs, they buy the copyright and put it on the shelf. I've seen the Geet motor, I've seen electroplasma generator, I've seen Kesh Foundation bring a plasma generator and gave it to the world free on the internet with no copyright infringement. They want to control the energy, they want to control the media, they want to control the currency and the food. And if we concede to this crypto, blockchain, digital ID, medical ID currency, the entire world will be enslaved. In Canada and America are the last bastions of freedom-loving people that are a well-armed society. Why does this matter? When the Japanese fleet admiral was asked, why didn't you attack the mainland of America? He said, because behind every blade of grass, there is a gun. That's why they want your guns, Canada, so they could give them to Ukraine. Are you kidding me? They want your guns because every communist manifesto that takes place is this. They take over the media, they take your guns, and then they slaughter you. Look at killing fields in Manchuria. Look at what happened during the Bolshevik Revolution in China. They took away the guns, they took away the media, and they slaughtered those people. The Bolshevik Revolution in Russia, when it took place, they murdered millions of people because they had no way of defending themselves. We can't let this global takeover of humanity with NATO and Freemasons and Jesuits occur. We have to say enough. Sorry, Davos, devil-worshipping monsters. We win, you lose. This banking system and this world dominance is over. NATO will not win this war. That's right, yeah. Ice, ice, baby, absolutely. Yeah, you're right. Yes, thank you, moderators. Okay, so with this building almost full, I'm going to go in and watch what they have to say. I can't film inside. I'm going to watch these beautiful Albertans stand up for freedom. Every single one of these beautiful people. The parking lot and the lineup is off the charts. I'm such a proud Albertan right now to watch these people stand up and say no. This church is going to be packed. We don't have a big enough room. Listen, everybody, be blessed. Be strong, be brave. Protect your children. Stand up to these teachers and these teachers' unions. Stand up to these teachers and these doctors that are going to concede. I was so offended when I seen doctors that I looked up to say, oh, well, we're just following orders. Same with the policemen. We're just following orders. When do you stand up as a Canadian, whether you're a policeman or whether you're a doctor or a lawyer? When do you stand up and say enough's enough? I watched Patrick King fight for freedom in the teepees in the legislative ground in Alberta. I was in Nancy's teepee and I said to that beautiful person fighting for freedom, you're behind enemy territories and you're behind enemy lines and you're infiltrated. You have to stand up as a people and just be basically honest with each other. You have to stand up and sign these petitions and be an active participant in your society. You can no longer say, oh, politics are boring, I'm not gonna watch. You have to participate in your society. If not, that's what got us in this mess. I'm gonna walk past these people and we're gonna just get out of their way so that they could do their beautiful thing. They're gonna sign this petition. Blessings, everyone. We love you for coming. Every one of these beautiful Albertans, they're standing up and they're giving me thumbs up. They're all fighting, you betcha. Yeah, we love freedom and we're gonna fight for it and we're gonna win. And we're not gonna stop. This is just the beginning. These people that have put up these signs and done this whole thing, this lineup is massive and that building is filled. And we're gonna continue fighting and we're never gonna give up. We're never giving in. We're gonna keep on fighting until the end. We're not gonna let these oligarchs, these Vanguard, Wayfair and BlackRock and Bolsheviks and these Masons take our country. This lineup is right outside the building. It is amazing. I'm gonna show you the lineup. Look at these beautiful people. The media will not show you this. We are the media now. We're the news because we can't trust our news. Look at this lineup. These people have been coming and going all day. Look at the cars parked everywhere. Look at these beautiful people. We're tired of being told what to do and what to wear, what kind of medicine to take. Look at these beautiful people. The parking lots everywhere, they're packed. We've had enough. We're gonna take our country back and we're gonna throw these politicians in jail where they belong. How many of you people believe Justin Trudeau should be in jail? Look at him. Let's put Justin Trudeau in jail, right? Look at those beautiful people. This parking lot is packed. Beautiful. Okay, everybody. I'm gonna end this video now. I love you all lots. I wish you the best. Oh, here, you wanna be on camera? Here's a Canadian, you betcha. Big thumbs up, you bet. You betcha. Okay, I'm done. My throat is dry. I'm cold. I'm frozen. So I'm gonna end this video now. I love you all. Take care, everybody. Stay strong. Fight for freedom. May this message find you.